consent,
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 consent.
consent.
My God.
Do you have authority to give consent?
Consent? Consent? Consent? I don't know.
It's good enough for me. We'll get her ready.
Give me that. I'm her doctor.
She consented to this procedure.
Let it go, Lourdes.
She can't consent. She can't consent. She can't consent. Only I can consent, and I don't want you touching her.
You don't want the truth to...
I told them what happened, that I didn't wait for consent. Consent. Consent.
But it was more complicated than that.
No, it wasn't.
Did you consent to the heinous act?
Be in their sleep period. The council has already issued a writ of consent giving the Chancellor permission.
Ah, for sure. Kissing could be a way to go if you're up for it and can get written consent.
First of all, you cannot open doors without consent. Is that clear?
Something. We can't, okay? We don't have consent.
Jacob, look at me. Darius' consent form. She's the 5th victim.
Look closely.
It's a standard consent form for an angiogram with contrast. This is the appropriate procedure.
Layout,
Layout, layout.
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 So, I'm kind of familiar with the layout, the layout, the layout.
Can you describe the layout? The layout? The layout?
Well, it's pretty confusing, but I could try.
If you know the layout, the weak side is obvious. In Ben Waters' case, it's the secure housing unit.
Leave it till 2 or 3, then just go down and get an idea of the layout of the house.
The other day, the layout pages.
Why on earth are you doing that?
Space, Danny, that you trained in. So think back. The security layout of the lot.
4, 5. What are you doing, beautiful mind? I'm mentally scanning the layout of the store for security cameras.
Do we have those layouts?
Yes, sir.
It's for the event. Physical layout, guard deployment, personnel numbers.
And it was the most complicated layout I'd ever seen.
Portrait,
Portrait, portrait, portrait.
portrait.
Down. If you love me, take it down.
My portrait. My portrait. My portrait. My portrait of you. You mad?
Had it done before the wedding. What do you think?
Of the portrait?
Yeah.
Portrait?
Yeah.
Portrait?
Yeah.
It's nice?
Yes. Of course, dear. The invitation has come from Downing Street for the unveiling of your portrait. Portrait. Portrait.
Little girl, how would you like your portrait sketched by the world-renowned Margaret Aldrich, Queen of the Bay?
These are revelations which pierce the veil of secrecy surrounding this war, painting a more complete portrait of events we thought we understood, but we may not have known at all.
An outstanding landscape painter. But among his many splendid landscapes, he painted 3 portraits.
I was trying to emulate Degas, who lights up his portrait faces with all these wonderful colors.
Degas.
But the image made on this day will be the last official portrait ever taken of the 16th President of the United States.
Oh, I forgot to mention, sir, we got a call from Photo about a portrait sitting. You're going up on the 25 years of service wall.
And keeping every reporter from asking if the governorship has gone to Peter's head.
You won, Eli. It's not wrong to put such a beautiful portrait in a place of prominence.
When will you ever finish my portrait if we sit together so infrequently?
How about a self-portrait? You saying you want to eat me? Because I don't know how to feel about that, bro.
Freelance photographer. I do weddings and family portraits. Listen, I swear I didn't do anything.
The portrait in your room depicts you alongside Lord Thomas Hamilton.
It was the same thing with the Greedo self-portrait in Belize. I mean, I wasn't taken out of a purse. It was more like a highly secured wing of a Central American antiquities.
liberal,
Liberal, liberal,
Liberal.
liberal.
Liberals, reformers, subversive students. Yeah, RICO was enacted to go after the mob, but don't tell me that it wasn't abused.
I'm sure you and your husband are just thrilled.
Fiancé.
Oh, how liberal, liberal, liberal.
Never in my life have I seen a candidate more attacked by the liberal media, liberal media, liberal media. Smear after smear after smear. It wasn't Katie Couric's fault. It wasn't the liberal media's fault. It was your fault.
Republic of Austin with a bunch of hairy-legged women and liberal fruitcakes.
Put your drinks on my tab. Let's get this liberal party started, eh?
Picketing that gets bigger and bigger every day tugs on their goddamn white liberal conscience.
Goals of duty. Goals long since forgotten by progressives and liberals in favor of what they call a changing world.
I understand some of you are here to satisfy your liberal arts elective requirements.
Prohibit.
Prohibit. Prohibit.
Prohibit. Prohibit.
Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry. There's a law that clearly prohibits any candidate from campaigning within 300 feet of a polling place.
Decitabine is not a prohibited drug, so I don't see why...
Dr. Cornell.
Hubert Dreyfus, a man with both feet planted firmly in the past, whose bill prohibits the use of drones on U.S. soil.
You are positively prohibited from making any inquiries into this question. Do you understand?
I understand.
So anything I know about his work,
You are prohibited from sharing with anyone.
after I sign this,
That's right.
It was intended to criticize racial profiling.
All the while, your client knew that Islam prohibits any pictorial depiction of the Prophet.
General reminder, the use of cell phones is prohibited.
Giving the first dose directly into the lungs in the OR. Hospital policy specifically prohibits me from giving meds to unrelated homeless people pretending to be father and daughter.
Account numbers.
all from domestic banks, and since Blakely was a U.S. citizen.
You're prohibited from looking into them.
But you guys aren't.
I'm sorry, but doctor-patient privilege prohibits us from characterizing or describing our patient's behavior.
Your flight log.
This meeting is over.
Keep in mind, the waivers you signed prohibit you from discussing what was said here.
Help him.
Madsen only talked with Justin to remind him of the confidentiality agreement that prohibited him from talking about the program.
Mechanic.
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 Oh, hi.
Oh, how did it go at the mechanic? The mechanic.
Not great. Can I talk to you for a sec?
Yeah, sure.
Did someone call for a mechanic? Mechanic?
Should this not be the case, I will send my mechanic here to find you and kill you and your family.
Who's that? Rob's mechanic friend.
Why didn't you tell me?
How often is the mechanic the hero of the story?
We got lost and our boat caught fire. Some mechanic malfunction. We had to jump ship.
When?
It's been on since I bought the car.
That's all the more reason to consult with a mechanic before it explodes.
It's not gonna explode. Just keep driving.
Gear? Scare, you're a scientist. You can figure it out, right?
I'm a scientist, not a mechanic.
A mechanic. What did I say? Drive it gently. But no, you don't listen to me.
She's a mechanic, and a very good one.
A mechanic?
An assassin.
Mechanic.
I just spoke with our mechanic. He assured me that your car will be repaired by the end of the week.
My brother's an airline mechanic. You got the wrong guy.
Sorry about that. That's John Pope, our mechanic.
Yeah, I gotta check a fuel line there. So.
Hey, I was smart enough to bring my own mechanic to the negotiations. Severide got the guy to knock $1,500 off the price.
Eyesight.
Eyesight. Eyesight.
Eyesight.
Eyesight.
Your eyesight is perfectly fine, Nana. And you saw a suspicious man carrying in these ballots.
My eyesight is twice as sensitive as yours.
How do you even know you're gonna take the shot?
Parker!
Wow. It's a shrine to Saint Odelia.
Right, patron saint to eyesight, eyesight, eyesight. People come from all over. They leave little dedications to the blind to help restore sight.
Who's lefty? Who's lefty? You serious, Dom? You blind? Lost your eyesight in prison? What?
She said she wanted to break up with me before the surgery, but she couldn't handle it. I'm about to lose my eyesight and she can't handle it.
What do we think? Guard dog or little old lady with poor eyesight and a loaded gun?
Around here.
Oh, of course. In fact, I now respect you so much that I won't insult you by fixing your eyesight.
There's some lube. Sorry, too late for your eyesight.
God, how did you see that?
That's what I asked.
Exceptional eyesight.
She stopped kicking.
For the moment, her eyesight is developing this week. Unless it's not, unless she's blind.
She's not blind.
No, I'm not criticizing. With your eyesight, it's a wonder you could see the pots at all.
This is not a man you want to cross. Have I told you that my eyesight is failing? Okay, the lodge.
Hazard. Hazard.
Hazard.
Hazard.
Hazard.
And like that might put you in harm's way.
Occupational hazard. Occupational hazard. Occupational hazard.
I think that my date is on his way back and you should leave.
Not until we figure this out. Call for your dinner.
Persistent.
Professional hazard. Professional hazard. Professional hazard.
You don't want that tree. Why would you buy this? That isn't even real. Oh, that smells like a fire hazard. A fire hazard. A fire hazard.
Then you got a lumpy rug. Creates a tripping hazard. You open yourself up to lawsuits. Boy, you can go a really long time without blinking.
And there was weeds and clutter, and they said it was a risk and a safety hazard, and so they...
Trust me. Fucking right I am.
And I'm kind of turned on right now. You make a good case for hazard pay. How much you want?
Do you have any idea why I pulled over?
Yes. I parked my vehicle illegally in the middle of the road, which causes the same safety hazard as leaving a vehicle unoccupied.
Because the lion's share is going to our hero. Consider it unofficial hazard pay.
Come on. It's a pest. Deer are a hazard. They carry ticks. They're overpopulated. You don't take the shot, I will.
Hazard of the profession.
Yeah, sure. Another time.
The feds took away my hazard pay.
Fund.
Fund.
Fund. Fund.
Fund.
I'm glad you're both here. I'm starting my own hedge fund, and I'm looking for investors.
My fund runs a diversified energy portfolio with an emphasis on Gulf producers.
And it's only for the weekends and after school after you're done with your homework, and all the money goes into your college fund. College fund. College fund. Okay, does that sound good?
All right, Ms. Lockhart, I am holding you in contempt. You owe the Legal Defense Fund $80,000 to be paid no later than Friday of next week.
And you withdrew a fair amount of money from the family trust to fund this fruit stand, didn't you?
Yeah. So we throw some in a college fund, but the rest is fair game, right?
This check is for significantly more than what I told you it would take to fund the department.
I know.
It's Valentine's Day. Don't you and Mr. Hedge Fund have plans? I know Carlos and I do.
So that's what this is about, your trust fund.
How are you?
Good. Maria and I finally got married. I started my own investment fund. How about yourself?
My trust fund is your trust fund.
No.
I doubt your trust fund is that large, and no angel investor will go near the company that built the machine that destroyed half the city.
Says here Dr. McGee has secured $500 million in private funding to develop.
Undergo.
Undergo.
Undergo. Undergo.
Undergo.
In 6 seconds, lobby security will undergo a shift change. Undergo a shift change. Undergo a shift change.
Apparently, the league has some of their recruits undergo a process of reprogramming.
Like brainwashing?
Now, you're all valued employees, but as we undergo this transition to life online, we wanted to be candid with you.
I'm sorry, I admit it's an inconvenience, but with so few undergoing the procedure, every one of our patients is a learning process.
I have to cut away dead flesh. Nobody can undergo a procedure like this without an anesthetic.
What it's approved for, which is refractory nausea and vomiting in patients undergoing chemotherapy. So that's it.
You'll surrender your clothes and undergo exfoliation.
Exfoliation.
Even so, she would have had to undergo the contaminatu ritualis while she was pregnant.
One of the prisoners, Faisal Ahmed, is undergoing treatment for a viral infection.
Holly is on a strict diet of cruciferous vegetables, and Yasmin is undergoing a new embryonic facial treatment that probably causes short-term memory loss.
Then the balance of power shifts to you. And then you can demand they prove their love by, say, undergoing surgery.
I'm not so sure about that. Your division at the FBI is undergoing restructuring as of today.
The hospital was undergoing unexplainable power outages every time you were going into cardiac arrest, which was actually a misdiagnosis because, you see, you weren't flatlining, Barry.
Basically.
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 The thing of it is, you know, he just basically told him, he said, your dad will never beat you again.
Basically, it was like Bernie became her property.
You'll never leave me.
Never. Pissed off because he ditches and doesn't get caught, is that it?
Basically.
And your problem is you.
Excuse me?
We'll unload them. Hopefully, Treasury will get its money back.
Is that in the Break the Glass plan?
Basically.
Oh?
So yeah, it's, you know, love being twins, man. It's basically like you have a bag of spare parts. You know what I mean? It's like I need a kidney down the road. I know he's got one.
Drinking sorority girl.
Like a Stepford wife?
Yeah, basically. She was even flirting with Jeremy right in front of me.
How did I do? I think I did pretty well.
Yeah, she said you were cool, basically.
Basically.
Weeks, and I'll be finished before I have to deliver. So basically, I am going to be helping people get thin while I get fat.
Like if you come home and find him hanging in the closet or whatever, it's basically an automatic A for you.
You good? You won Top Chef Season 6?
At this point, it is basically a culinary prerequisite to be on that show.
Oh.
Magnetic resonance imaging.
So you're really starting to freak me out.
I basically created a virtual autopsy.
Arrangement.
Arrangement. Arrangement.
Arrangement.
Arrangement.
Mr. Wise and I had an arrangement. He broke our contract.
The FBI are not my buddies. It's a business arrangement. Business arrangement. Business arrangement.
We're married. It's a business arrangement. Business arrangement. Business arrangement.
Oh, so Alicia Floric, huh? Well, she works with Will. She's married to you. Must be quite an arrangement. Discuss.
So you're forcing us out?
With good reason.
And what's that?
The current arrangement is,
My name's Chaz.
Let me show you what I got for you. You're gonna be a loyal customer. This weed sucks.
This is inferior product.
I don't think our business arrangement's gonna work out.
And why is that?
Oh.
And you're letting a murderer go free to curry political favor. If that sits right with you, then maybe I should rethink our arrangement.
I'm just doing my job.
What was the arrangement?
Fine, but it's on your head tonight if a village in Africa goes without goat cheese.
You know, if you were my sugar mama,
What would our arrangement be?
Connect.
Connect. Connect.
Connect.
Connect.
You having fun? I did connect with one guy. Connect with one guy. Connect with one guy. And my propensity for screwing things up overtook me.
Consultants set up a Twitter for me to connect with the people, to connect with the people, to connect with the people. That no one has to be alone again. Whoever you are, whatever you love, you can connect with someone. You can connect with someone. You can connect with someone.
Lost him in the war. Tamako is a way to connect to my past.
Fuck, no, please, come on. Where is he? Just connect him, please.
Come on!
So here I am, driving you to school, thinking, it'll be great. We can have some, good conversation. We can, connect with one another. But here you are in your bubble, that I'm not in that bubble.
Character, the minute I laid eyes on you, I said, that's a guy with connections.
It is true, I can connect you with someone, but it will cost you $100 cash.
All right. This will get you to the Secret Service. That'll connect you.
Maybe for the CIA. Does Brody have a connect with the spooks? Yeah.
I had an encounter with a certain wingless fairy who told me of a failed attempt to connect you with your soulmate.
Operator, can you connect me with Child Welfare Services? Good for you.
It's a place to hear other people's stories, to connect and find out what's going on in your head.
Moderate.
Moderate. Moderate.
Moderate.
Moderate.
Okay, I want to run questions. You moderate, you moderate, you moderate, you play Underwood.
Wear this one.
Problem is...
He's an old-school tax and spin liberal. Walker ran as a moderate. Walker ran as a moderate. Walker ran as a moderate.
I've heard that moderate drinking is actually beneficial for kidney recipients.
Oh, who told you that?
Jim, we need more moderates on the staff and a summit with the Russians.
Methods. Would you prefer another form of moderate exercise?
What would you like to talk about?
No, I have a moderate problem with online gambling.
Hard-working, decent people are losing their homes.
It's terribly shameful.
The point is, Prime Minister, we must moderate the pace.
I moderate the discussion boards at bcircuit.com.
What have you heard?
Moderate traumatic brain injury. They've located the brain swelling, so they're going to do an MRI, try to determine the extent of the damage.
We do, for a moderate stockpile.
FEMA is assisting thousands of evacuees returning to their homes. With the exception of some moderate flooding in Georgia due to rain from the outer bands, the rest of the eastern seaboard was left virtually untouched.
Innovation.
Innovation.
Innovation. Innovation.
Innovation.
A city that will be remembered for centuries as a cynosure of innovation, 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 and artistry.
Ingenious. This is a tremendous innovation. This is a tremendous innovation. This is a tremendous innovation.
I'll be at the salon.
But there are some mothers who don't get to take advantage of this maternal innovation. Innovation. Innovation.
It's not about him. It's about putting products out there to make people's lives better. Competition fuels innovation.
The defendant's office on Tuesday, so I don't have time for innovation.
One motion, and it's done.
It will be born once again. A global center of manufacturing and innovation.
You're looking good, Miss B. Keeping up on all the latest cosmetic innovations.
See that? I plant the seed of innovation, I nurture it, and voila. He rose.
Barely any patient interaction, so no research, no innovation, no opportunity to do what it is we got into medicine to do.
Well, and you need me to keep my focus here.
I know, I do, but...
To turn this place into an innovation hub.
Before such innovations as the apple, back when the sleeping curse first came to be, a more direct method was required.
Reservation.
Reservation. Reservation. Reservation.
Reservation.
Would you like me to make a reservation anywhere? Make a reservation anywhere? Make a reservation anywhere?
Oh, how about I call you tomorrow and we finalize all that?
The treaty which established this reservation, defines the easternmost border as the Spotswood River and cites this very map as its source.
Better get you dressed, because you have reservations for 2 tonight for dinner.
Steve just called to confirm his 8 o'clock reservation at the Water Grill.
Archibald, did this topic come up when you made the reservation?
No, because you insisted on making the reservation.
Hey, good news. Instead of having Mansfield over to your place, I made us a reservation at Salas.
I can't afford so long.
But he's not the only one with moral reservations about what we've done to survive.
Well, before we leave, Donna, would you mind calling us in a reservation for 3 at Villa Packery?
Simon George moved out to the reservation 6 months ago. All right, so they know where we can find him? Not exactly. We need to go out there.
His restaurant. He was making reservations. How much you want to bet it was for 2?
I'll get us a reservation. I'll take you somewhere nice for your birthday.
As nice as Bora Bora.
Well, I guess that reservation at Bestia will go to waste.
Your brother went way off the reservation on this one.
Amongst.
Amongst.
Amongst. Amongst.
Amongst.
Just find a gas station?
Honey, we are going camping, not antiquing. At some point, you're going to have to tinkle amongst the trees.
There's a killer amongst us.
Real cute. You try to jump in? What are we talking about? There's a code. Amongst men. It goes something like this. I saw her first.
Design book covers, amongst other things. I'm sorry, can you just give us one moment? Just talk amongst ourselves. Thank you.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Don't let him scare you off.
I thought I told you to.
Talk amongst myself. Yeah, I got bored.
Really?
This, Clyde Oberholt, you are a god. You are men amongst other smaller, tinier men.
Your future ex-husband? Wow, nice to meet you. Okay, listen, I've got to meet a client. I got to go. So just talk amongst yourselves, and you two make a very handsome couple.
Yeah.
He walks amongst us, but he is not one of us. Your tattoos, that's what they say.
He spent a week with the others, and he brought one of them back with him. Here, amongst us. Juliet, you lived amongst the others. Why would Ben say the people coming here intend to do us harm?
Because he's a liar.
How long did you guys debate amongst yourselves whether or not to ask me why the phone rang?
5 minutes.
Absolutely. Let me just redistribute our thingies amongst our various bags.
Lawn.
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 And said a bunch of things I'm remembering all of a sudden.
You know, Dad, you did it on purpose. We all saw the tire marks on the lawn.
It was a pleasure. Your lawn jockeys are just outstanding.
And Uncle Tyree?
Yeah.
Time of the murder?
Yeah.
What kind of work you doing?
Lawn work.
Lawn work.
What?
I mean, how much can grass seed cost? I could plant a lawn, maybe some flowers. I could even put up a fence.
Would you like to mow the lawn at my apartment complex?
I can do lawns. How much I get?
A man in Scranton is placing a flag in his lawn for everyday captivity. When he runs out of lawn, Kennedy wins the primary.
To do anything, no more outings.
Whoa, Maureen.
Don't you go over my head, Zach. That's final.
Or we can use somebody aloe from our front lawn.
Jeannie.
You trained that dog to piss everywhere but the lawn, and you did an incredible job.
Tell your friend U-turn. You tell him he's a lawn jockey now.
I'm down the block. Drop him off in the lawn. I don't give a shit, okay? Just call an ambulance for him.
March.
March. March. March.
March.
So their lawyers are threatening you?
Julian says you can spend your life in cushy cubicles, or you can march. March. March.
Let's go! Fold in! Woodwinds! Make a window! Come on, let's go, kids! The bell is ringing! Go! March, march! March, march! March, march!
He and Albino will march north. Together, they'll sack our lands surrounding Bologna.
We march on the invaders' camp, first line.
But we march on, mate. That's all we can do.
Bravely, I marched on with mighty steps. Then I got a Charlie horse.
He's marching on the valley!
He'll destroy the village.
You should be sleeping. Tomorrow's a long march.
Is that how you lot do your fighting? You march down the road, banging drums and waving banners?
Most of the time, yes. When I can help join Vega against Gabriel.
Oh, you're just gonna march in there and demand an army? Who's gonna listen to you?
Oh, I'll make them listen. How do you figure?
This whole death march routine? Like I'm supposed to believe a couple of cops are gonna camp me and dump me in the ocean?
Fresh supplies have arrived from the Duke. Today we will not be marching into battle.
Plastic.
Plastic.
Plastic. Plastic.
Plastic.
Fingernails, plastic fingernails, doggy charms. They're my specialty.
Sorry?
We don't even carry guns. Just some plastic baggies. Plastic baggies. Plastic baggies.
Or is time plastic? Is it mutable, whereby any changes to the continuum could create an alternate timeline?
Surely, this is not what you left home to find, huh? Your head in a plastic bag choking on your own fucking god.
Thompson needle manufacturers refused to switch to plastic needles, despite the money they'd make, because plastic needles...
You realize you're playing a plastic guitar?
Listen, I want you to wrap it up. You know, put it in one of them plastic bags you keep the extra transistors in.
Down there. And then a few years ago, they switched to industrial plastic. Again, it was cheaper just to lay it over the old stuff.
All right, what's on the receipt? Hurry up.
Okay. 3 rolls of duct tape, plastic sheeting, 50 feet of rope, kerosene.
This is new to me, okay? I mean, I am taking pictures with a plastic camera.
Plastic bags are new. Yeah, I haven't seen that in Kaz's book of tricks.
Melinda, somewhere near it, there is a plastic case the size of a book.
Drain.
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 Drain. Drain.
Storm drain. Storm drain. Van Buren Wells.
Nobody ever found it.
We could grind her almost completely down. Like just send her on down the sewer, right down into the drain, right down into the drain, right down into the drain.
Oh, really? This is what? This is drain cleaner, drain cleaner, drain cleaner.
I didn't draft off his work. A month ago, you were circling the drain at Wyatt. Now you're some hotshot exec over at Icon.
Yeah, I could slit your wrist, drain into a glass, and drink it.
You stole one of these little transfer keys, right?
You could drain the accounts.
They are genetically engineered wasps that when they sting you, they drain your body's natural swagger supply.
Oh, because he peed his pants, right?
Yes, I'm going to burn his clothes, drain his blood, and melt his balls with acid.
We're sorry, plus I can't get this stupid drain unclogged anyways.
Stick that hanger down there.
The Petersburg grid is experiencing a power drain right now.
Barry, be careful.
Now, that looks like an overflow drain deep in the woods, so we should be able to slip into the compound without anyone seeing a thing.
Potential blockbuster drug down the drain.
Dive.
Dive.
Dive. Dive. Dive.
Belay the dive.
We'll open a scuba shop.
Hey, I don't dive. I don't dive. I don't dive.
Neither do I. We'll have plenty of time to learn.
We go to that dive bar up the street after work. You should come with us.
Yeah, come with us. Have some fun.
Come on, man.
Get on out.
believe my own ears. You expect me to deliberately take a dive? Damn, I'm definitely gonna have to wash this shirt.
Do you want me to dive in? No. I need you to learn how to delegate.
Rocket, hurry!
All pilots, dive! They're beneath us!
Plan. We're gonna climb up on the garbage, unsnap the windows, dive in the dumpster, and grab the spare key on the counter.
I'll dive in with you. Mañana. All right, both feet, I promise. How's that? Well, how about this? I know a decent little dive over in NoHo. We could go drink it off later.
Hey.
What bars did Shauna and Clay frequent?
Mostly Southside dive bar.
Stuff. 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 Stuff.
Stuff?
Hanging in the closet and you didn't pack them like you usually do?
No. Stuff that I packed is not here.
Potential of this thing is off the chart. It's the stuff dreams are made of.
You're judging me because you carry a list in your pocket of stuff you'd like to have sex with.
Yeah. Timo brings stuff up. You're gonna love it here.
My stuff is gone, and it's all your fault!
Prizes. Really? Because I'm doing some stuff with floor wax that will really blow your mind.
Are you sure?
No, I just sit down here all day and make stuff up. Of course I'm sure.
Sorry.
Hey, Beckett, got that stuff on Hayes. Well, during the past year, the guy shelled out some major cash to pay for his mother's long-term care bills.
You want her to blow stuff up? Yes, now we're talking.
Yeah, but she probably just wants to ask me, I mean, you know him, about metahuman stuff for her blog.
She wants to see you upstairs. I need some stuff from the supply center for tonight.
He keeps the good stuff at the back.
Not if he was poisoned.
We found this stuff in Dawkins' cell.
It's got to be a clue. He wanted you to find it. All this stuff was inside.
Pleasure.
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 Leisure.
Pleasure to be here, sir. Pleasure to be here, sir. Pleasure to be here, sir.
Lovely to have you. Mr. Moyer, the number's in from our Chicago office? Yes, I am afraid so.
Yes. You make a lot of sense, Victor.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Steve, these are my parents, Gerald and Helen.
Oh, it's a pleasure. 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 Your daughter's a sweetheart.
You have a beautiful apartment and a beautiful home, of course. Thank you for letting me stay there.
It is my absolute pleasure, Paolo.
The pleasure a liar feels when he sees his lies believed. You've had the training.
Nice work. And I want to thank Oscar for these great lyrics.
My pleasure.
Well, people with money who could use
She's
our
a client,
services.
Gillian. I don't ask clients for loans, and I don't mix business with pleasure.
Pleasure.
Hello, handsome.
How are you? This is my girlfriend, Joss.
Pleasure.
Legend! Pleasure to meet you, sir. Ellis Boone.
Citizen.
I have been sent by Quan the Unkillable. Quan requests the pleasure of your presence at his match.
Quan knows who I am, and he thinks my presence is a pleasure?
Flowers are always nice.
Yeah, thanks.
The pleasure is ours.
Oh, thank you so much for settling that problem with my landlord.
It was my pleasure.
Revenue.
Revenue. Revenue. Revenue.
Revenue.
It's a payment.
To the CIA.
The CIA. They take 7% of my revenue. Revenue. In return, they let me use their planes.
The initial phase of development will boost your town's tax revenue. Tax revenue. Tax revenue.
Look, I think I found a way to put real revenue stream behind your research. And
the Laffer curve. Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue curve, you will get exactly the same amount of revenue.
Hey there. Forrest J. Ackerman, Internal Revenue Service.
Straight from Tavan. He's asked me to keep an accounting of
of your revenue streams and of your pets.
Real popular in building demolition.
Half the Pardillo family's revenue comes from construction and concrete.
Support without which there's little chance of reversing the catastrophic downward trend in revenue from the Bahama territories.
Certainly you do. In fact, there's a question of using empty farmyards as new sources of revenue. I'd like to know what you feel about that.
Bringing these dual tracks together to form a single, potent revenue stream.
Did the money originate in China?
The money came from tribal revenue, as our FEC reports clearly state.
Let me rephrase. Did any of that revenue come from Chinese visitors who gambled at your casino?
Entirely. Well, I like the sound of that. So we're going to privatize Social Security and then raise revenue by hunting the elderly for sport?